I've tried a lot of different things. A lot of times it's hard to keep them going because of lack of volunteers. But we do like a full moon festival every month that I really love. And we have a drum circle, and it's just this pretty amazing experience. It's not any kind of religious thing or anything, but it's just a nice coming together and expressing. We do a little bit of what's going on as far as where the moon is, what sign it's in. I try to talk a little bit about that sign and those energies of whatever that sign may be. But that's about it.
Melting Pot, a global podcast series hosted by Payal, connects guests who have inspiring stories and reaches out to a multicultural audience over 52 countries. Guests are diverse, such as celebrities, entrepreneurs, travelers, and many more who've had a turning point in their lives and moved over to a holistic lifestyle. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, social media.
Hi everyone. Today I am in conversation with Jonni Campbell. Jonni is the founder of a non-profit which is called Differently Abled Entertainment. She's deeply committed to championing greater representation for individuals with disabilities and other marginalized groups. And as I can see her backdrop, it's a very powerful logo, and I really appreciate your time, Jonni. Thank you for being a part of Melting Pot.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored to be here.
Okay, so can we firstly start with a little bit on your background?
Mm-hmm. I grew up in the entertainment industry. I've always loved performing. I grew up performing in choir and theater all through grade school, middle school, high school. And in the middle of my junior year of my high school year, I wrecked my car. I was on my way to work. I was a CNA at the local nursing home. And I was on my way to work, and I rolled my car on a dirt road, and I broke my back, and I became a paraplegic. And so life kind of changes after that, but it changes, but it doesn't stop. Life goes on, and I've continued with my ambitions, and I've had 4 kids and continued acting, and I've done a lot of other things, but it has been a challenge pursuing acting and doing the things that I'm really passionate about, because there is a limited amount of roles that are technically written for somebody that is in a wheelchair, such as myself. And then if it's not technically written for somebody, it also takes a different kind of director or producer to see that maybe a role that might not necessarily be written for somebody in a chair, but could still be written or portrayed by somebody in a chair. And so those are some of the challenges that I've faced. And I've started this organization in a ways I would like to help break down barriers. I've broken down a few for myself, but there's still a lot more that needs to be done as far as inclusivity across the board on a lot of different areas, and not just the disabled community.
Yeah. Is that the core mission of Differently Abled Entertainment?
Yeah, our mission statement is to promote and encourage differently abled artists in the entertainment industry by producing content featuring their talents. So yes, we work with a wide variety of people, whether they want to be on the stage or in film or behind the scenes as camera people, writers, directors. We work with both sides of the entertainment industry to get people better exposure, more opportunities, and build up their resume, build up their portfolios, and just a way to showcase their talents. Because if you're never given any opportunities, then it's hard. And then not only that, but the cost of what it takes to get a portfolio done up and to make sure that you have an actor's toolbox or an entertainer's portfolio or whatever it may be, photography portfolio. Often, a lot of times it takes a lot of time, a lot of money. And so we've tried to just also break that barrier in a sense so it's not so elitist and everybody can have a chance to pursue what they really want to pursue.
So how challenging has it been? Because you mentioned about yourself and how it was not easy for you because of your disabilities, for you to then try and put other or encourage, not just encourage, but provide opportunities for others. How challenging has it been, and how accepting has the industry been now? Has it evolved over the years since the time that you were trying to make it?
I definitely have seen it evolve, and I definitely see more inclusion happening on a lot of different levels. The Representation Matters movement has really done a lot for people of color, LGBTQ, and the disabled community. And it's important. For a long time, we've all only seen like certain things represented in film and TV and a certain type of person, certain type of people. And it's nice that you're starting to see more variety, more real people. And yeah, I have seen it become more accepting and more inclusive, but it's still like numbers wise, as far as the United States is concerned. I don't know global numbers, but as far as the United States is concerned, 26% of adults in America are considered disabled, get disability, and are considered fully disabled. All right. And so that's over a quarter of America, a little over a quarter of America. And yet we're only represented, the disabled community. It's only represented 1 to 2% in film and TV. And 95% of those roles are played by able-bodied actors. It's a huge discrepancy as far as when we are being represented, that we're not being represented by proper representation of what they're needing. And I really feel that there's enough people, enough talented people on this planet, that people should be represented properly, whether that's racial or cultural, whether they have a disability or not. These are things that are important, because it's important for people of these communities to see themselves being represented, to see opportunities, to know that, oh, I could do that.
Yeah, you're right. I think everyone is capable. It's just the opportunity, it doesn't present itself as easily to someone who is different. And,
Mm-hmm.
and my understanding is that your nonprofit is trying to bring about that change. Do
Yeah.
you know of anyone else who has a similar sort of
I
similar?
do know of some other organizations that also deal with better representation, but they're more secular. It's usually they're just dealing with disabled people, or just dealing with people of color, or just dealing with LGBTQ. And I'm really trying to, we're all just people. And that's where differently abled, it's not just talking about being disabled, because I've gotten some kickback on that. It doesn't mean disabled, it's everyone.
Yeah.
We all come from different lives, different experiences. We're all differently abled, everyone on the planet. That's my view of it. But yeah, and that's the kind of yeah, people have to see themselves being represented, but also that's the reason that they haven't, is oftentimes they're not expected to meet these, especially those of us in the disabled community. Oftentimes we're pigeonholed into that word itself. Being disabled means being unable to perform, unable to do things. And that's often not the case, even with the most extreme things. And I've known total quadriplegics that still are very outgoing, very fulfilled, have full-time jobs and all of that. But that's not the norm, because it's not what it's expected, because it's more of just expected of somebody to not do anything, or that they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that often it extends also to back when you never saw a Black person or a colored person play a president or a vice president or anything like that. These positions of color, or positions of power with a person of color. Sorry. But these are important. This is possible. These things happen. And I mean, and history has changed a lot in the last few years to where it has happened. We have a woman vice president. We've had a Black president. We've had these things, but it's not just about, like I said, it's not just here, it's globally. People really need to be represented properly and equally, and realizing that just anybody, it doesn't matter what your backgrounds are, you can still be anything and do anything.
Yeah.
And that's where acting, when you see a person and you think that's not necessarily a real thing, but it reflects that it's a possibility of, like, why do we not see this? And because, like, for so many years Hollywood was historically whitewashed, everything, especially when you only seen people of color in roles in the movies that were usually a maid or a servant, or they were the lower class in the films, always there for many years. There are those exceptions that
Yeah.
you did see, but as far as the majority goes, that's not how they were represented. And that had a lot to do with racism and all these other issues that we're still dealing with even today. And so that's where representation is important. And it extends, like I said, to everybody. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. How do you bring spirituality into your programs?
because we deal with a lot of people with seen and unseen issues. And a lot of times when you're coming from marginalized groups, you've had to deal with discrimination or other issues that it's struggles. And so there's a lot that we try to focus on as far as mental health. And that's important. And not just if you have a mental health issue, but just everybody. We all deal with stress. And so within the organization we do try to share tips and stuff like that. And we had like meditation things going for a little while. I've tried a lot of different things. A lot of times it's hard to keep them going because of lack of volunteers, but we do like a full moon festival every month that I really love. And we have a drum circle, and it's just this pretty amazing experience. It's not any kind of religious thing or anything, but it's
Yeah.
just a nice coming together and expressing. We do a little bit of what's going on as far as where the moon is, what sign it's in. I try to talk a little bit about that sign and those energies of whatever that sign may be. But that's about it. Other than that, it's just let's drum and let's howl at the moon and just get those energies out and have a good time and come together in a safe space. And so that's one of the fun things that we do as far as like spirituality goes. And then for my own personal self, I do on the side, not necessarily with the organization, although I do it at full moon festivals, I do tarot reading and stuff like that. And it's something that I've always enjoyed to do. And I've been doing it for about 30 years
Wow.
almost.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. What do you think in terms of partnerships and collaborations? So, one is that through your programs, you try and provide opportunity for the differently abled people to the big bad world of Hollywood and entertainment in general. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to say big bad world, but into
Yeah.
into the entertainment industries. How important do you think is the role of collaborations and partnerships? And
It's
how challenging has it been for you?
it's huge. You have to have a team of people to really get, especially when it comes to film. There's so many people involved from the beginning stages to the end stages when it comes to a film project, that it takes anywhere from, I think the minimum you'd have to have at least like 10 people really to be doing something, to 200 or however many people. Films with a lot of big huge casts or a lot of extras or whatever, like it just goes up. Like there's no less, unless it's just a one person thing where they're just filming their own stuff, which I mean, it could make an interesting movie depending on how it's done. But majority of what there's a huge, that's why they have those credits that go on for 5 minutes after the movie, is because of all the people that it takes in order to make anything happen.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, collaboration is huge. And some of it, I've had some people, they're either really interested in what I'm doing and want to do something with us, or they're those type of people that are just like, I
Too
don't
much of an
know.
effort for them. Yeah.
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 Yeah. They're like, I don't know how that would work for me. I don't know how I could write a script that would involve more people with disabilities or whatever it may be. And it's okay. And I understand that it's because when you haven't seen it really very much, you don't know.
Yeah.
And like that saying goes, you don't know what you don't know
Yeah.
until you find out that you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So, any one success story that you can talk about which has had a positive impact?
We've had a few. One of the things that I'm most proud of is up to date so far. We've helped about 40 models, actors, models, and musicians in that what I call models. Basically, anybody that gets in front of the camera, once you get some pictures done, I call you a model, even if that's not really your end game. But
Right.
we've helped even musicians and actors get publication in magazines and interviews and stuff like that, because you got to have those headshots, you got to have that portfolio to promote yourself. And yeah, we've helped over 40 models get their first publications in various magazines globally. So that's one of our things that I'm really proud of. I know 40, it's not a lot. We're still just starting out, and we're based out of Tucson, Arizona. So it's not a super big city,
Yeah.
but it's not tiny either, but yeah, we're starting to make our mark, and I'm pretty proud of that. So,
Do you also have people in your program from other parts of the US, or is it just Arizona?
we have had a few volunteers. Yes, we had a magazine going for a while of our own. And at that point, I had volunteers and writers and people helping from all over. But due to losing some volunteers and all that, we put the magazine on hold for a while. I do have goals, though, of eventually, I would really like our organization to have chapters all over in all of the major entertainment hubs, like nationally and globally. The places where they're focused on making film, or they're focused on making music, or whatever it could be. I would like us to have chapters in all of those towns all over the world. So then everybody can have a safe space in their own local community that they can come to and know that they're gonna be treated just like everybody else,
Yeah.
and given an
Yeah.
opportunity to show what they can do. Because
Yeah.
it's so important. It's so important when you're constantly being told, no, you're not what we're looking for, over really silly things. In my opinion, it gets a little disheartening when it's just people need better opportunities. And so I would like to give them that.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And I'm sure you will be able to. I can feel it. So what, because I saw that you also do your own productions, or am I not correct in saying that? Do you have any projects where you have a theater performance or something like
Mhm.
that?
Yes, within the organization, we were doing one theatrical play a year. And that's because we were in between spaces and we were renting spaces. Now we have our own brick and mortar location, and it's small. Our theater only seats about 35 to 40 people, but we do two, we're working towards possibly three theatrical shows a year that we would
And
like to do.
do you travel? Would you travel with your shows, or it's just
We
in
would,
oh
given
you
the
would.
opportunity. Yeah, if something like that was, I think that would be something that would have to be planned when rehearsal was started. So then that way people know that this is what we're going to do, and we're going to take it here and we're going to take it there. And I think that would be amazing if that opportunity was to arise. It's definitely something I'd always be open to, but not something that I've been seeking.
Okay.
Basically, if it was to come to me, I'd be down for it. But right now, I'm just like, I've been really trying to focus on building up what I'm trying to start. And I've started this all basically with myself, and hopes and dreams and prayers and wishes and a lot of manifestations, and the help of my mom.
That's amazing.
And basically and I've had a few here and there really good solid volunteers that have helped, but a lot of times, unfortunately, within my organization, I have had a high turnover rate because we are working with people with oftentimes health issues. And so things come and things happen. Life happens. And so, yeah, that's been a struggle, is building up that team enough to where I feel secure enough to, like, it's like the baby bird leaping from the nest. Like right now, I'm still safe in our little nest. And I'm still building the nest even. So
I think
that's where
step
I'm
at
at.
a time. Yeah, absolutely. One step at a time. And that's how you consolidate. And then you look at getting bigger. And good luck to you, because I think it's not easy. But I think your mission is very clear. And I'm sure step by step, brick by brick, you'll be able to put something, because it's a very unique and interesting opportunity for people to align themselves with what you're trying to do. And I hope that all these conversations will help and be heard. And I would encourage people who are listening and viewing to also step in and support in whatever way they can, because I think it deserves that opportunity. So thank you so much, Jonni, for joining me today. I really appreciate what you're doing. And I feel that there is an absolute need for there to be more conversations around it. And I wish you all the very best. And I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you as well. I appreciate the opportunity to be in front of everyone that's watching. So yes, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Great. Thank you. You take care.
For more weekly conversations, do listen to Melting Pot on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Follow us on YouTube and on Instagram at Podcast Melting Pot. So until the next episode, this is Payal signing off.